This week on Waxing the Porpoise, G-Baby and the usual suspect Steve once again welcome back returning champion and fellow unctuous philistine Chris from Channel 83. This time we find ourselves in Gotham to discuss Abel Ferrara's seminal vesicle, King of New York from 1990, starring Chris Walken, a scene-stealing performance by Laurence, Don't Call Me Larry Fishburne, David Caruso, and minor roles for Wesley Snipes, Giancarlo Esposito, and Steve Buscemi. Join us as we sip on a few adult beverages and discuss why Jade is the better David Caruso vehicle, get treated to a Freddie Rock Me Tonight for Old Time's Sake Jackson appearance that G-Baby was particularly fond of, and discuss the importance of fusion cuisine through the lens of the burrito in an ever-evolving world. A nickel bag gets sold in the park, we want in.
Yo, man, you ever get the feeling you was being watched?
Let's wax this King of New Porpoise.
Chase, don't do that.
You see, we working on his brow chakra. We're just in back at the crown chakra.
Please, Billy, no gibberish tonight.
Oh, just wait. Welcome back to Waxing the Porpoise. We are gathered here once again discussing, this time, episode 56, King of New York from 1990. Tonight, you got myself, as usual, Jim G. Baby.
Look, Mommy, the rhino's getting too close to the car.
And to my virtual right, the usual suspect, Steve.
You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody.
Crossing guard grab an 8-year-old's ass over here.
Hello, real cops.
Underrated movie, dirty work. Check it out. So fucking funny.
Yeah, man. That's one I could anytime. And then, of course, returning champion, the man who selected this film for us to watch that we'll be discussing this eve. Once again, we have Chris from Channel 83.
Please, Billy, please, no gibberish tonight, please, I beg you.
Sorry, Daddy.
Hello. How's it going, man?
Good.
Was that a coincidence, or did you just have that potted up ready to go?
Oh, I had it ready to go. So, yes.
Before I literally said that right when we started recording?
No. I had it planned. So it was just a fun piece of happenstance. Yeah, synchronicity. Dude, I gotta.
We should leave that beginning part before the intro, where that
the fucking
just so we know.
Speaking of synchronicity, one of the things you guys, Jim fucking lost it over Bitch Magazine.
Bitch Media.
Or Bitch Media, yeah. I was looking through some old newspapers for something completely different, and I stumbled upon this article that says, but since the mid-1990s, Bust and several other independent magazines with titles like Bitch, Moxie, Bamboo Girl, I was like, the fuck are the odds that Bitch Media is in this old ass newspaper article when you guys just were talking about that, and I've never heard of it before.
Dude, that's funny. So it's just a publication just called Bitch.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
That's awesome.
Dude, that'd be
it's
so
got to
funny.
be under the Bitch Media umbrella at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good old Monica Castillo. Another one from that episode that I thought, because I've heard you use philistine before, the phrase unctuous Philistines.
Yeah.
Very shallow, unctuous Philistines.
Yeah. I was like, that's like the worst or the weirdest like usage of unctuous in that respect, but that and Philistines together, I was like, yeah, I bet Chris is just like, what?
Chris Hansen actually uses the word unctuous a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, he sure does.
I feel like people that would use unctuous would also use the word cloister with like a high regularity. That's those two words. Something about them. I just don't like them.
Well, I've got two fun, shitty reviews for this one. One I like more than the other. We could start with one, and then I could save one for the end for fun, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down.
So this review comes on behalf of a person named Golden Calf. 1 out of 5 stars. The title of their review just says "dumb movie," and then the full description says, "Would probably appeal to 13-year-old wannabe gangsters, wannabe cops, and Charger fans from LA."
You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
I don't get it at all. I love the just random swipe at the end.
Wait, what's the last sentence?
I'll just read the whole thing. Would probably appeal to 13-year-old wannabe gangsters, wannabe cops, and Charger fans from LA.
Yeah, I don't. The Charger fans from LA has got to be. There's a cultural significance between San Diegans and LA people.
Well, the Chargers are in LA now, to be fair.
I know, right? And they were in SD forever. So, but I wonder what that remark is that they're sniping at. I'm not. It's hyper regional, I bet. But
this person wrote a review.
That probably just means they're like bandwagon, like fake ass Charger fans.
I think this person was just having a day and needed one more person to insult for the trifecta. Like, I've got the wannabe gangsters, I've got wannabe cops. Fucking Charger fans
in my town.
Yeah, that one made me laugh.
Right on. How uninspired, though, for your subject line to be
dumb movie.
Come on.
I think you're going to like the other one I got. This has "you" written all over it.
Okay, cool. Let's sit on it so I get nice and tuned up for it.
Get off my plane.
I had a couple people like that. Your dad's episode came out today. That's one of the things when we release and then record the same day. It's hard to capture like the feedback for the next episode, you know? Maybe we should think about offsetting a little bit. Because I had a bunch of people were like, oh shit, I had a question about Steve's dad. So those will come in like on the back end. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess at some point, I think I don't remember. I bashed West Texas because Logan is from Texas.
Well, I think it's because he mentioned. I think it's because he mentioned El Paso as being like the shittiest town to be in.
You were just asking him about potential shitty places that he would have been assigned to go.
Yeah, I think because Logan was like, "Bitch, keep West Texas out of your mouth." Anywho's,
I'm not going to say anything.
Nothing but good about West Texas.
Dalhart's a fine town.
If you don't love El Paso, I mean, Juarez is right there across the border, so.
It's true. Okay, so this was a first-time watch, King of New York from 1990, directed by one Abel Ferrara. Had you ever seen this, Steve? No?
Nope.
Had you ever even heard of it?
I don't believe so. The few times it's come up, I always think of Suicide Kings, which I think I have seen a million years ago, but nothing about this seemed familiar to me at all.
Word. Yeah, this is one I upon watching it this time, I realized I had only seen small slivers, or maybe I did watch the whole thing and I only remembered small pieces, but I only clearly remembered a couple parts of Larry Fishburne, which I still loved, David Caruso getting got, and then the nickel bag in the park. I want in, you know, that little thing at the beginning with where he takes out the Italians. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I think I always mixed this in my head with like that early 90s milieu of like New Jack City, like Colors, Juice, movies like that, like that are pretty violent, like focus on like the gang aspect and like the back and forth, like the good guys and the bad guys. And But yeah, I like this one a lot. What do you think, Steve?
I liked it. I don't think it was a particularly good movie, but I enjoyed it.
Right on. That's
think
fair, I think.
if I could just give a quick little reasoning for that, it felt like the sequel to a better movie that doesn't exist. I just feel like there was a lot of missing context. Like,
yeah,
there were so many cool characters in it that you didn't really get to dive too deep into. You know, Steve Buscemi, first of all, he's only in it for like 5 minutes.
Test Tube, that was his name in the credits.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen the history between him and all these other gangs, like what led to all this kind of animus, or him and the cops, like why him and these cops hate each other.
Right.
Would have loved to seen Laurence Fishburne, like more of his sort of character development. I felt like I was watching a sequel, you know, that I hadn't ever watched the first one, but I don't know. It could have just been, if they made it a little longer to develop some of the characters a little bit more, I think that would have helped too, if not a full prequel. But yeah, Christopher Walken is a weird dude, and he dances like a maniac.
So weird. And real quick before we move on, like I feel pretty much the same way. I didn't think about it like that, but that is a good way of nutshelling it. Like it seems like a better sequel, or a sequel to a better film that was never made. Part of my main critique that we'll get into later kind of revolves around the same things, like the lack of development and like where that like the headbutting between like David Caruso in particular comes with Chris Walken. Like,
Rick Astley.
Yeah. I feel like that could have been fleshed out a lot more, but we'll get into that, I'm sure. But
yeah,
so that sounds like a soft yes.
Yeah, I
enjoyed it, but
yeah,
okay.
I liked it for sure.
Definitely not a criticism I would have thought, but I can see where Steve would think that.
I mean, like, yeah, why'd he go to jail? Show us some cool shit. It's like
racketeering.
Yeah, they mentioned that. So they got him on like a lesser charge.
I would have liked to have seen that whole thing go down, you know?
Yeah, I feel like there was room for a little bit more exposition or like background, because I can't remember. Is this like an hour and 40 or an hour and a half? It moves pretty quickly.
It's an hour 45.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like stuff like this, like gritty crime stuff like this. I'm more inclined to endure 2.5, 3 hour kind of endeavors, a la like The Departed, or the fuck is the one, Zodiac, something like that.
I mean, so this one seemed like a weaker kind of Heat, you know?
Yeah.
Before Heat.
I could see that.
Like the scene where it's him, and I like the scene a lot. And I would have liked to see more of Bishop's background too. It's like, why are you taking these pills? Why do you look so forlorn this entire time? I feel like there's backstory.
Yeah.
I was waiting to hear like, oh, maybe he's sympathetic, and then they have that kind of Heat moment in his apartment. But it just kind of fell a little flat to me. Like, I don't buy this like emotional connection between these two guys that I feel like they're trying to build here. But yeah, not to be too overly critical, I still liked it a lot.
Right on. Yeah, and I like a bunch about there's a lot to like about this for sure. But this film came recommended by Chris. And what's your opinion of this one? Are you pretty high on this? And how did you get first exposed to this, I guess?
Yeah, I fucking love this movie. It's like I wouldn't have seen the connection to like thinking it's a similar movie to Heat, but my reaction to them was similar. It's like the first time I saw them, it's instantly like, I want to fucking watch that again. I don't remember how I even heard about this movie or like why I decided to watch it, but I did. And I fucking loved it.
Did you come across it later in life, or does this have a nostalgia effect to it?
No, I came across this later because this was actually one of the like 6 non-horror movies that I reviewed on Channel 83. So,
oh shit, you reviewed this one?
Yeah, so I've seen this for the first time within like the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, damn. I'm slacking. Right on. Yeah, I think I probably saw this, like, snippets of it, like, 10 or 15 years ago-ish. Maybe, like, the mid-aughts, somewhere in there. But I always remember the tagline, the nickel bag in the park I went in, all that shit, because
from here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in. You guys got fat while everybody stopped on the street. It's my turn.
It's my turn. You know what that's sampled from, Steve?
No.
That's from an Andre Nicotina smoothie song, the East Bay banger "Savage as Fuck." It's a pretty regional hit. That's the hyphy movement in the early to mid 2000s. They were pretty big from the album "The King and Mr. Biscuits."
Yeah, all that shit's garbage.
Dude, Andre Nicotina's dope. I saw him in Chico at the Brickworks in like 2004.
Yeah, that's how good he is. Plays in a basement to 7 college students. Now, some of it's okay, but when that wave came through town, I was so happy when it left town.
When it disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, the like Mac Dre, don't care that he died. The Andre Nicotina, don't care.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, God.
Fizell Washington.
Oh, speaking of it, it's not the same thing at all, but I don't know if you guys saw that Afro Man got his house raided by whatever the local sheriffs, and he's got a bunch of surveillance equipment in his house, and they didn't find anything, but they were serving a search warrant for like kidnapping and drug distribution or whatever. So all of these Keystone cops are walking through his house, looking through like a book of CDs. They're just looking through all of his shit. And so he took that footage and made a music video, basically just making fun of these cops. Like, oh, did you find any kidnapping victims in my book of CDs? And
in my case logic.
It's a pretty funny song. And what makes it even more funny is now the sheriff's department has got so butthurt. They're like suing him for using their image. It's like, you're in my house. Yeah. This is my footage. You are a public servant. It's just funny to see how butthurt they are.
White Horse?
You should check out the song. It's pretty funny. And the video that has all the surveillance equipment or surveillance footage.
That's awesome. That's cool that Afro Man's still around. I didn't know he was doing shit.
Yeah, you and me both. I think they like stole money from him too, because they're at one point they're like counting cash in his house. But
yeah, I'm intrigued now. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's not stealing; it's called civil property forfeiture when the cops do it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's one of my biggest fears. Like traveling with a lot of cash.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I've known people who have had a shit ton of money stolen from them, and it's like, we don't have to prove you committed a crime. We're gonna seize this, and it's up to you to prove you did not. And good luck with that. So, yeah, it's scary. It's a scary thought.
Yeah,
like
proving a negative, famously a simple thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. I had an incident going through Phoenix airport security, and that's always a little sketchy because it's close to the border, so they're probably on a little more heightened alert for stuff like that. But I carry the cash like in my carry-on, and it's not like I'm hiding it or anything, but I have it secure, at the bottom of my bag so no one can just lift it. And most TSA screeners, they see it and they see it's nothing to be worried about. But I have had a couple rookie ones who don't really know what they're looking at. They'll kick it to the side for a secondary inspection, and they'll make me pull it out in front of all these other people and open all and show them this cash.
Fuck that.
And so my fear is A, they're going to seize it, or B, somebody else is going to see it and fucking roll me somewhere in this airport for it for the next hour when I'm waiting for my flight. So it's scary, man. But
like
luckily I haven't had
the Giants hat.
Huh?
Bing. The bogey in the Giants hat. Bing.
Yeah.
Just drop a pin on you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that'd be super lame. Be like, dude, come on.
Nothing illegal about traveling with large amounts of cash. You don't even have to declare it domestically, but you just might get somebody who's stupid and decides to ruin your life.
Yeah. Lame.
Yeah. Anyway.
So getting into this flick, it centers around mainly Chris Walken, who plays a guy named Frank White, and it opens up him getting out of prison. Dude, where was he going? Like his compound or whatever, those walls and that gate that he went into in his limo, I was like, dude, that looks like the most fortified fucking like estate you could have. Those, did you guys notice that? Or was like, dude, those are super high, like solid ass walls. I was like, this is where I'd want to be for the zombie apocalypse or some shit hit the fan. Like,
are you talking about him coming out of Sing Sing?
It looked like he was going home, or was that the prison?
Did you watch the movie in reverse?
I could have swore it was way after that, and I was like, dude, is this his like mansion?
No,
like,
I think you were probably looking at,
or was it the Colombians?
The like internal gate, like because it shows the car picking him up from outside the jail or prison, but then I think there's an external gate they have to go through.
Oh, okay.
To get
I might
out,
have to edit that because they sounded like
no, leave it in. I mean, I could have
swore it was like he had gone down the road and it was like he was pulling into his fucking chateau or whatever.
It's possible because, to be honest, my mind was wandering from the very beginning of the movie when he gets into the limo and is driving away, and I was thinking like, man, I remember being a kid and limos were such a big deal, and I feel like I never see them anymore. So that's kind of where my mind was going. I remember anytime you ever saw one, it was like, man, that must be Burt Reynolds or something.
Nice pull. Yeah, I think the last one I saw was like an extendo, like a fucking excursion limo.
Sick.
You know, like how they got real ridiculous around like 2005.
Prom or like season is the only time you see him now.
Yeah, that's true.
Or like it seemed like they got overtaken by like the party bus kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, plus, social media didn't exist back then, so if you wanted to flex, you had to like actually go outside and do it.
Yeah.
That's probably has a lot to do with it.
I thought it was a fun at the 6-minute 35-second mark. Blink and you miss it. We get a shot of Halloween 4, the Return of Michael Myers movie poster. Did you spy that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, was that intentional? It felt intentional. Is there some connection?
No, it's just they did like pretty much this whole movie was like on like location shooting, and that was just out at the time.
Right on. Yeah, because I mean that's the same year, so they were trying to like like lend credence to like the area or something. I don't know.
Because it seemed
by
deliberate.
The way, I was thinking maybe it was like a similar studio, and they were just trying to like pump like one of their other pictures, but I don't know if it was. I think this is like New Line.
I believe so.
Halloween 4, by the way, I think that's one of my guilty pleasures. That's one of my the ones I like more in that series, only for the fact that it really puts me in a Halloween mood. To me, it's the one that really feels Halloweeny, like it. Like
Other
it has
than
that.
3, yeah.
Well, yeah, but like the Michael Myers thread, like just like the leaves on the ground, like the atmosphere in that movie.
Great title
like,
sequence at the beginning.
Yeah, that specifically like puts me. That's like the end of September, first week of October. It's like that's what I reach for. So right away, Frank gets out, and then we get introduced in this first kind of funny scene that I really liked. Our introduction to Larry Fishburne, who I'm a huge mark for Laurence Fishburne, and we get a fun little, really odd bit part with Steve Buscemi, who plays Test Tube, who's testing the cocaina. and they're at a drug deal. Do you see the Travelodge International? I was like, oh shit. It's I always thought Travelodges were just like shitty, like off
did
some
you notice it was 13 feet below the flight path, so yeah, I imagine that would be a pretty shitty place to stay.
So they're making a deal with the Colombians, and Larry Fishburne plays Jimmy Jam.
Jimmy Jump. Jimmy Jam was in The Revolution with Prince.
Sorry. Yeah, okay, I got a little bit of crossfade there. Yeah, so Jump. But I guess later on he's called Jim. So I thought that was fun. Dude, the part where he's like goofing and then he looks over and he glances at one of the henchmen from the Colombians and he sees the gun. Dude.
Yo, man, you ever get the feeling you was being watched?
Dude, I fucking love that. Just his whole the way he's like just owning this role is fucking badass.
Oh yeah.
And so they get the jump on the Colombians. He packs the cash case with tampons. And I thought that was a flub. He's like, what the fuck is this? He's like, it's for the bullet holes, puta. I was like, I thought it'd be like for the blood, to like stop up the blood. Like that would have made more sense with like the symbolism of the tampons, but
well, it is like one of those pieces of advice that people pass around that has no basis in reality, where it's like, yeah, people carry around tampons to like field dress their wounds, shove them in bullet holes.
Okay, I can see that angle then. All right. Fair enough.
The last thing I'm going to be thinking of if I got shot is like, oh, thank God I brought this fucking tampon with me.
Hand me my purse.
Oh, let's be fucking...
They put a bullet hole, puta.
Oh, and of course, dude, the fucking, when his homeboy busts through.
Room service, motherfucker!
This motherfuckers. At this point, I was like, I'm in. Fully, let's go. So after that, it's like we have this weird reunion with Frank, played by Chris Walken again. This whole part was fucking really weird to me. Like the way Chris Walken approached it. Like, what was your impression of him being greeted by his crew, Steve?
Well, I kind of had the feeling that these were his boys, and they were just kind of doing that fun, like chicken game with each other, and then they were all hugging and stuff, and then we started dancing. I was like, Jesus Christ!
And did you notice your boy Gus is in this?
Gus Fring from Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
No, I did not know.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, that's what's so funny is like, we were talking about how I only know John Malkovich from Con Air. I only know Giancarlo Esposito from this movie. So he was in like the first season of The Mandalorian and everyone was like, oh yeah, I fucking love him. I was like, do you guys just really like King of New York? You like this guy that I don't think has any lines?
Yeah,
I just thought there were that many closet King of New York fans.
He really
for something as commercial as
together.
the Mando. That's awesome. Yeah, I think he's one of those weird characters that's been around obviously for a long fucking time and has been in stuff. But I mean, obviously his most notable role is Breaking Bad, and then I think ever since then he just like capitalized on that, and he's like, he can't make a wrong move, like between the Mandalorian, he's in a bunch of other shit now too. And like, yeah, I think that was huge for him. But yeah, he's in the background. Like he's the dude, he's kind of got a Jerry curl going on. And he was at the beginning where he blasts that one Colombian dude with the shotgun and gives him the newspaper.
He's always wearing the 90s ass, like perfectly round glasses.
Okay.
Aussies.
Yeah, because even when you mentioned him being in it, going back in my mind, I don't remember even seeing him at all, but I do remember the guy with the weird circular glasses.
Yeah, that'd be he. So I mean, right away in this movie, and the awkward part happens, I think, intentionally when Chris Walken's like, "Hey," they're after it dies down, like he's reunited with his crew. They're all stoked. They're all fucking like, "Yeah, we're gonna fucking fuck shit up and make money." And then it dies down, and then he's like, "Hey man, how come you never came and saw me in the joint?" And it gets all quiet. And I mean, he has a pretty good response. He's like, "Ain't nobody want to see you in a cage, man." And then he kind of has this weird laugh, and I felt like kind of like secondhand embarrassment. Like it felt really weird. Like, and then they're like, "All right, let's get out of here." And I was just like, "This is weird. This is a really weird angle." But I mean, Walken's a weird.
It's a
dude,
fair
so.
question, and it's also kind of a fair answer. So
yeah, I bought it.
Like, oh well, fuck yeah, I guess that makes sense. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Also, it would be awkward, like seeing people that you hadn't seen for 3 years.
Yeah.
To me, see, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he was in the joint for 10 years. I don't know why I have that in my brain, but I could have sworn.
I thought it was 8. I don't know where I got that number.
So there's conflicting stuff. I think they say 8 out loud, but at the beginning of the movie where they kill that one random dude in the phone booth and throw down the newspaper on him, the newspaper article says he's just got out serving 3 years on a 5-year sentence.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like they made that newspaper prop without actually looking at the script or something.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, that tidbit kind of clears up one of my issues I had at the end, which was, I guess we'll just skip to it, is the fucking why David Caruso has such a boner to fuck up and to bring down Frank White. Like, I was like, he's been in jail 10 years. You don't look that old. It's like, where did this where's this long-standing thing come from? I would have liked to see that, or it just didn't jive. Like, why do you have such bloodlust for this guy?
It's kind of like he's never going to give him up or let him go. I'm going to run around. And
that was the plan, to give you a boner. And you got one.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it was only 3 years, then so he's had more run-ins, and he's their rivalry is more fresh. So I buy it a little bit more, but
also when the first scene with Bishop in it, where he's looking at the computer, he's looking at Frank's arrest record.
Yeah.
So he's just been in and out of prison, like since he was a kid.
Right.
So that's probably where David Caruso is so pissed off about it, because nothing sticks.
Right. They just keep getting recycled and crapped out in the circulation. I liked how quick this movie moves, but it also felt kind of like, especially like when you look back when you get to the end of the film, to me, I was like, shouldn't he have played that a little, more patient? Because I don't know how long. I'm curious, what's your guys' opinion? I felt like this entire movie took place across the space of like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Because like the whole, like him taking out the Italians happens the same night he gets out of prison.
Immediately.
Yeah, that was a great part.
Yeah, I like that. Dude, the fucking... What's his name? Artie Clay. Yeah. Him, like the consigliere or whoever comes in, he wants to set up a meeting with you. And when he pulls out his dick and just starts pissing on him,
immediately.
Like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, dude, he must have been like, how you engage? Like, he must have started pissing like 8 seconds before. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty fucking rad.
I could never do that.
Power move.
I would
especially at that dude's age. He probably started trying to pee as soon as Frank walked in the building.
Yeah. He's like, give me a second. Everyone's looking at me. It's just hang on. I'm shy.
Baseball. Did somebody turn on a faucet?
Baseball.
Dude, I made me think of fucking Jerry Stiller It's like, I got a prostate size of a honeydew. Flaring up
a couple
like
drips.
Tiki torch. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, he makes light work of, Larry Fish, they take out the Colombians, they get a fat stack to like greet him with like, your coming home present. We took out this crew, and then they immediately take out, we're going to take out the Italians. And they're like, you want to join us? We're at the Plaza Hotel. And he just starts making like these really big moves. Like, and again, I'm thinking he's been in the joint for 10 years. I was like, when you played this a little bit fucking like more patient, more like for as cool and calm and collected and yet ruthless that Walken plays his character, I felt like he was like super impulsive throughout the entire film.
Well, I think that might just go back to that speech he has with the counselor on the roof, where he's just like, I feel like I don't have enough time. I just need a year to make something good, which is actually taken from like a John Gotti Wiretap, that whole speech right there.
Oh, shit.
Okay. That's fucking interesting, man.
That's fucking... This was a valued... Sorry. Okay, I was gonna say when you talked about the counselor, I kept thinking, I was like, is this Kelly Preston? I was like, no, it's Kirsty Swanson, and it's just some no name I had never heard of, but that kept fucking with me. But this weird subway scene where they're fucking making out, doing this, dude, that looks like the worst makeout session I've ever seen. He came in with like the sidewinder, like touching side of tongues kissing. I was like, what the fuck is this freaky shit?
Well, you could see his teeth, and you could like, he must have had dental work done extensively since then, because I could not look away from his fucked up teeth, and you could tell she was not into it on her side.
It was pretty bad. There was not a lot of sizzle, but you get some yabos in the shot, so chalk it up as a win. And then did you recognize this guy when they're on the subway doing their weird tongue fucking, and he gets brazed by those 3 teenage hoods?
Yeah.
You recognize the lead?
No.
Harold Perrineau, aka Dozer's brother,
shit.
in Matrix 3, aka dude who gets his leg fucked up in the edge. Walt's dad from Lost. Walt?
No, the Edge.
Walt! Walt! Don't you ever say his name again, ever!
Walt!
I've never seen Lost. I don't think I've ever seen
Lost
Matrix 3. Right. You know I love The Edge, but no, I didn't recognize him from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't look it up, but also one of them totally looks like this guy that's in Death Wish 3 called the Giggler.
Oh, man. Dude, we should watch one of those. That would be a fun review. Or even like a watch-along, watch party.
Yeah.
Don't you think it would be a good idea if, when you look up the IMDb page for a movie, if the pictures they have of the actors were era specific? Because sometimes I'll look up an old movie and it's like, this guy played Sergeant Bob. It's like, I don't recognize this person at all because they have a picture of him 50 years later.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd think that
or it's vice versa. Like you see an old guy and it shows his fucking headshots from like the 60s and you're like, what?
I feel like there should be a way to, this guy was in this movie from 1990, so let's find a picture somewhat close to that time frame.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Especially for someone like me who struggles with, like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what he's from. I don't recognize him at all. And I need a little help.
What happens after this? Oh yeah. So, and then right from this, then he goes, and this is where they kind of introduce the like the pseudo kind of Robin Hood shit, like where he's wanting to work with this like pretty big Asian group, like the Asian syndicate moving drugs to like go in on. He went to a charity drive or whatever. He's trying to build like a nice general hospital for the shitty part of town. I think they just say like the South Side. It's like some generic, or maybe it's Harlem. I don't know. So some part that in New York that's like, oh, we didn't get enough funding and shit, but all the nice areas, have. So he's trying to be like quasi good Samaritan at the same time too. But I feel like they didn't. That wasn't earned enough for me.
Yeah, I agree too.
What say you?
I felt like they were like, we've got to make this bad guy kind of sympathetic, and we got to make these good guys look bad. It's like a little switcheroo, but yeah, I don't know.
I didn't really think it was trying to make him seem like a good guy. I think it was just like that's how you wield actual power, apart from being like a drug lord that's killing people on the streets, is you do these sort of philanthropic big money plays to get, because I mean at one point he says he wants to be the mayor.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's something kind of straight out of The Wire, just ingratiating
well, this came
yourself
out first. Although I mean, it's not like this is the first movie to ever do that either.
Yeah, I guess I just took it as them trying to make him look like a nice guy. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it could have just been like a political move. I would actually like that better than them trying to make him just look like a nice guy.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't think about that like that either. I was thinking about it like, oh yeah, they're trying to make him like a fucking urban, like new age, like Robin Hood. But I also do like the sentiment though. It's like, fuck, you're going to take your shit into your own hands, kind of like John Q style, our beloved Denzel out there. Like, you're just going to make shit happen, So good on him for that, I guess.
Going to bury my son.
Nah, I don't accept that. Ever. Damn, that's a good bump. I need to get that one. But oh yeah, did you notice?
Probably not.
At that like campaign drive or whatever, the charity event, they had Freddie Jackson.
Was that
right?
I was enjoying the tune for sure.
Yeah. That wasn't that song, but that's my favorite song.
Yeah, it sounded like some shit that you would love and overplay to the point of me hating it.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty sweet get. Old Freddie Jackson. Are you a Freddie Jackson fan, Chris?
Never heard of him. I can only assume he's from New York.
He's got some fucking bangers, man. He's up there like Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson.
Pump your brakes a little bit.
George Duke. Okay. So then we get to the other side. So we get Caruso and friends. I also agree too, this whole Roy Bishop guy, like he seemed just like a fucking like red shirt, just like a off to the sidelines, yet he's like running them, and he just seemed like an old fucking curmudgeon, like, come on, we got to do things by the book, and Caruso's like the hot-headed fucking, he's wanting to like get a little dirt on his hands, to take down Frank White. He's sick of it.
Yeah, but you don't survive that long in the police force by being like, I'm going to go fucking kill this guy because I can't arrest him. He's probably just fucking, I mean, he's been through all the things David Caruso and Wesley Snipes have been through, and he's just fucking jaded.
True. But to my point, and Steve's, I wish there would have been a little bit more around him, like spend a couple more minutes on his background. Jade.
Yep, David Caruso.
Oh, nice pull. Dude, Jade is dope.
That's a triple letter word score. I was kind of hoping that there would be a weird wraparound where, because it showed him looking into Frank's history. I thought maybe Bishop was like an old friend of his that when they were kids, you know, he went one way and he went another, and he was maybe going to like help him out. But his character didn't make much sense to me because he just seemed so troubled the whole time, and it didn't really explain why. And then to just sort of die unceremoniously was, I don't know, kind of a bummer. Because I liked him. He seemed like a good dude. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I wanted to know what his pills were for. Was it just heartburn, or was he like fucking...
I think it was like heart medication, something like that. Probably fucking
weird
lung cancer, all those doing darts and the whole time.
Oh my God. So many
especially
cigs in this movie. Jesus.
Yeah. He's like any movie from like 1974 to like 95 is just, especially this kind of like a gritty cop crime. Yeah. They're just smoking like freight trains.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
You can always tell like at this time, like which actors actually just smoked cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
It's like, they're just like, yeah, I think it would be a good thing for my character if he's just always smoking. Like a fucking Mickey Rourke or something.
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah. I'm playing this character. I feel like he probably smokes a lot, so I'm just going to do that.
Bruce Willis for sure. There's even a funny line in Last Boy Scout with Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis, and Damon Wayans is like Bruce Willis does something else, and Damon Wayans is in a jam. He's like, oh fuck. He's like, man, what would Jimmy do? Smoke like 7 cigarettes and be like, oh shit, I don't know. Like, yeah.
But yeah, this is like one of maybe like 3 things I've seen David Caruso in. He gets a lot of shit, but I think that's maybe because they try to make him be a leading man in other things. I don't know. I feel like he's a really good like side character actor.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get all the hate either. I actually liked him pretty well in Kiss of Death with Nicolas Cage. I think Samuel L. Jackson's in that too for a bit.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't remember that much about it.
Yeah, he's pretty decent in that. I could go either way on him in this. I felt like he was a little overzealous, and that kind of like degraded a little bit, or he was grating to me a bit. I thought it was weird Wesley Snipes' role.
Yeah, but this is like before he was famous. This came out like a couple months after Major League and a couple months before New Jack City.
Okay.
That makes sense why he was kind of underutilized. But yeah, Caruso, I don't know from a hole in the ground, but I thought his character was pretty annoying. Even just the like the wedding reception speech, it's like, okay, relax, Rickles. Yeah. You're not that fucking funny. And then, yeah, the bar scene where he's trying to hype everybody up. Not to bring it back to The Wire, but it was like, this looks like a scene from The Wire, but worse.
Yeah.
So it was cool when he got blasted with a shotgun.
That was one scene I remember that was like indelible in my mind. Because it's so ballsy right at the funeral.
Yeah.
And it's Walken himself. And he's just like, hey, your head's
yeah, because when he ran to his car, I was thinking this would be a good time. But then also like, no way he's going to try to do this in front of all these cops.
Car bomb. Excuse me. Yeah, that makes sense now. Because I was like, I don't know. What with Wesley, knowing that now, I give it more of a pass. But like going into it, I thought Wesley Snipes' star was a little bit higher than I guess it was, and like his death kind of just felt cheap to me. I guess I don't know, but knowing that he wasn't in like we're not in Passenger 57 territory yet, then I guess that makes more sense. But I thought Larry Fishburne's death scene was pretty fucking wild. Like,
yeah, or just his sporadic laughing throughout the entire movie was awesome,
dude.
That's
and then he was like,
"Oh
fuck, it hurts," you know. And then he would like do that fucking Gacy like, like he's like, "I got you, boy, I got him. Look at him." And then he's like going back into fits of pain. Like I really bought that he was actually struggling with it.
Like, could have made an awesome Joker and the Batman from this era before they're like taking movies like that super seriously.
Right. Yeah, like I could have seen him in like the 89 Batman. Like that vibe for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. He's like I said, I'm an easy mark for Laurence Fishburne. He's by far my favorite part about this entire movie. Like the chicken scene when he goes and gets he's like, "Hey baby, go play some games." And he's got all the quarters and he's being all nice. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have 15 of those. Give me some spare ribs." This part made me fucking really hungry too. But yeah, like that scene's awesome. What was one thing Caruso said when he's talking shit to Frank? What's he say?
Welcome back, fuckface.
Yeah, that, and he's like, I heard you got AIDS in the joint when you were taking it up the tailpipe.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Yeah, and then he's like, I thought about you every time I jerked off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a compliment. That's not even shit talk. It's like, thanks.
Yeah.
The song they were playing in the weird drug den when the cops finally came in and infiltrated. Oh my God. So annoying. It was just on repeat over and over. It sounded like, I don't know if it's an actual Public Enemy song or if it's like a ripoff.
It's a Schooly D.
Yeah, it sounded like Public Enemy, but shittier.
But one of the things that might have made it annoying for you is that it's actually like a sped up version of the song. Like the actual song is not that fast, and his voice is lower than that.
Yeah, I mean, that could do it. And I also had closed captioning on because I'm an old man now and I have to. And so, like, reading the same lyrics over and over, Jesus, fuck.
Oh, man.
Have you guys ever had birch beer?
I've heard of it.
I don't think
so. But I don't think I've had it. Is it like a sarsaparilla or like a...
It's like root beer, but made out of birch bark. It's like a Pennsylvania thing.
Huh.
Uh,
I learned about it from this movie, and now I just like to tell people, you don't even know what birch beer is.
Because he's always talking about root beer.
Yeah, because he's like, in that restaurant, he's like, you got any root beer? No. You got any birch beer? No. You don't know what that shit is.
Yeah, some of the little things he says is fucking hilarious. And like his like affectation. I actually just came across some weird fucking regional soda called it's Ale 81, but they pronounce it a late one, and it's from like you can only get it in like the Midwest, like Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana. It's basically like Sprite with caffeine in it, like a shit ton of caffeine. So it's like it's pretty tasty, but it's an alternative to like if you're wanting something like citrusy, like a la a Mountain Dew, but you don't want to fucking drink Mountain Dew, like how it has that weird. Anyway, yeah, that shit's pretty good. Ale 81. I'd never heard of that. So this kind of sets up like the animosity and kind of sets the table for it. It makes it seem like, all right, Caruso and a couple of his boys are going to go rogue, and they're going to say fuck Bishop, and we're going to take this into our own hands. And I couldn't remember if they really went through with it, but sure as shit, like they get there's like a deal that goes down, and Chris Walken and crew get double crossed, and that's when the cops come in, led by Caruso and Snipes and his whole outfit, and they just start murdering folk. And then they get into a pretty rad chase scene. Did you like this whole action sequence?
I loved the well, I will say, going back to the annoying wedding reception toast scene where they showed the new husband, and he's just like clean, looks really nice. Mm-hmm. My first thought was, this guy's going to die for sure. He seems very, he seems very likable. And then
poor man's Andrew McCarthy
to be taken out by a fire hydrant. That was a pretty awesome scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It cuts to David Caruso, and he's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. He kind of felt the crunch when it happens. You're like, oh, is he gonna eat this fucking hydrant? And yeah, he gets like hereditaried on it, like minus the dismemberment, decapitation. Have you ever seen Hereditary, Steve?
No, is it any good?
It's pretty rad, man. I liked it a lot. It's really freaky.
One of our old coworkers came to work, and he was kind of a sensitive guy, and he's like, I just watched the most fucked up movie this weekend, and
it's pretty fucked up.
So taking it from
good,
him, I don't know if that means much, but
it's disturbing, but it's really good. It's awesome. You should check it out.
Well,
I'm curious to see what you would think about it. It's by the same dude who did Midsommar.
I just assumed he was overselling it. Oh, we had another coworker who, speaking of that movie, came to work on a Monday like, I just watched this movie. It's called Midsummer. I'm like, what? It's like Midsummer. Like, are you saying midsummer? It's like, yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't like it as much as Hereditary, but any hoodles.
Is it that goes down as The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage?
Well, it depends on what kind of mood you're in, I suppose. But like objectively, it's much better than Wicker Man.
Sure.
The original Wicker Man's pretty rad. I highly recommend that one. From like 1973, the OG Wicker Man's awesome. It's good. The only thing good about the one with Cage is when he punches the fucking bear.
That's not the only good part.
Well, it's my favorite.
You also got how did it get burned?
Yeah.
Not the bees. And then there's that
something about that bear just trotting down.
Yeah, and just pretty fucking good.
Getting knocked out.
He also kicks a woman in the chest.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's pretty yeah. Yeah, like I said, so this movie moves pretty quickly. So then, like, they get ambushed, and then this scene, like, I was pretty sad to see Fishburne go, but I was hoping he would stick it out a little bit longer. But we are towards the end of the movie here, and so he gets shot, but not before he kills Wesley Snipes. And this part too, it was a really weird "I love you" scene from Caruso to Snipes. I didn't really buy their like relationship at all. I didn't buy they were super tight, and they just felt like kind of cardboard cutouts of cops. There are a lot of moving pieces in this film.
Well, and also, if somebody is shot in the chest, giving them mouth to mouth, that's not going to save their life. I'm sorry.
That's pretty sloppy mouth. Wasn't there like blood spurting out of his mouth? I was like, oh fuck! Like,
well, and then when he did the final "I love you," it looked like he gave him another smooch on the mouth. So I think he may have just been taking the opportunity.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and the whole time Fishburne's just giving an awesome death performance, like laughing in their face and fits of pain. And
I kind of thought he was faking, even though they show the shots like go through him in the blood and everything. I thought he would raise up eventually and just like double gun take him out, but
yeah, that would have been rad. But yeah, when he gets it, like I will say the practical like effects, especially Fishburne, like the angle and like the lighting they have when he gets hit like 6-7 times, like it looked good. Like I was like, oh yeah, fuck, he's gone, man. And then it turns into the last man standing are Walken and Bishop. This whole part, I don't know. Or no. I skipped over Caruso. So then they have a funeral for all these guys, and fucking Frank's Chris Walken's in demon time. It's goblin mode. He just pulls up to the cop funeral and blows Caruso's head off, which is pretty. When I saw it, I was like, oh god damn, like that was an pretty indelible moment of this movie. And then it turns into, well, Frank and Bishop kind of have a little talk. And then he mentions, like, I'm going to put a $250,000 contract on any cop related to this case or this investigation or whatever. which didn't really go anywhere. And then it's just those two kind of tracking each other through a subway, and then they both shoot each other.
He takes his gun and he tells him to handcuff himself to the chair, and then he leaves. And instead of just using his keys, which I assume he has in his pocket, which have a handcuff key on it, he pulls out a gun and shoots the handcuff off his hand or off his arm. Like, you could have just used the key you had.
Oh, damn. I didn't even think about that.
Well, if you're going to carry handcuffs, you need a key.
Christopher Walken has run so far away that he can't hear the gunshot by that point. Because in reality, he was just like, oh, shit, he's out. I'm going to go fucking kill him.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I just assumed, like, Walken must have took him or something. Like, that was his only option. Because, yeah, why wouldn't you just use the fucking key? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the ending of this either. It felt really slow, and Walken getting shot. There's literally like no dialogue by any key person for like 8 minutes, 5 or 8 minutes. I don't know. I didn't like how this it felt kind of abrupt. What do you think, Steve and Chris?
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt a little unsatisfying, I guess. Like when you find out Christopher Walken was also shot, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
I kind of figured he's walking around kind of weird, and he's holding his belly, and like, just this weird stoic look on his face, just trudging up the stairs, and gets in a cab. I don't know. I feel like the way I'm talking about it, I like this film. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I think just on the same kind of wavelength you did, Steve. But when I'm sitting here, like, we're going through plot points and beat by beat and kind of picking it apart, it sounds like I don't like it as much as I did. But I did. I didn't like the ending, though.
Yeah.
Chris, what say you?
I mean, I'm fine with it. In the director commentary, Abel Ferrara was saying that Michael Mann told him he should have ended the movie when Christopher Walken's like walking up the steps from the subway so that you never see him die and they could have a sequel. It was like, I don't know if we needed a sequel to it.
I feel like I would have liked that more for some reason, but not counting on a sequel or giving a fuck about a sequel. I just thought maybe that would be more poetic if you went out that way.
A sequel would have been cool. I mean, I've already said a prequel would have been great, but a sequel would have been cool because all of these gangsters he's killing, he didn't just kill the people in the room. Like, all these people have friends, you know, especially like the Italian guys.
Yeah.
Like the Italian, if he's a mafia guy, he has friends other than Spider, who's in the room with him, who's like, yeah, I'm going to go join you. He probably has other people who are like, no, we're going to go after him. And now it's a gang war, you know?
Now it's a John Wick 2 situation where literally everyone in the world is a secret assassin chasing him.
Yes.
Yeah, the cellist on the fucking waiting to catch the train. Yeah. I don't know. It was fun watching it again and actually like paying attention and taking it in was a fun experience. Again, Larry Fishburne is what seals it for me.
Doesn't he hate being called Larry?
Does he?
I think so.
That's how he was credited in early movies. Not anymore, though.
Yeah, I think he doesn't like that anymore. I thought that's kind of why you always did it.
All right, might be. No,
it's okay.
He's awesome. I'll call him Laurence from now on. Strictly Laurence. Are you a big Abel Ferrara guy, Chris? Have you seen any of his other
so I was like
claims to fame?
So high on this that I was like, oh man, I'm going to watch some of his other movies. And I watched The Driller Killer, which is something that I was like, that's probably right up my alley, but I really didn't like that movie. I've seen another one of his movies, Fear City, which kind of reminds me a lot of 10 to Midnight.
Yes.
I like
Tom
Fear
Berenger's
City.
in that, isn't he?
Yeah. Tom Berenger and Billy D. Williams, I think.
Yeah, I like that movie. That is a good movie. Damn. Yeah, I was looking through his filmography. He also did Bad Lieutenant, the first one with Harvey Keitel, which I've never seen, but I've heard it's pretty hardcore. He also did. I've always wanted to see New Rose Hotel with Willem Dafoe, but I get close to watching it, and then I'll like read some reviews, and they're like, it's not that good, and I always flake on it. But I feel like he's done more stuff. Like he's got a name but when you really look at it, like the stuff that he's notable for, it's pretty thin, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he's really done that much mainstream stuff. I think Bad Lieutenant is probably his most well-known movie by a pretty big margin.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Fierce City, but I loved 10 to Midnight. I've never seen any of them.
I already knew.
I'm kind of surprised because I feel like you would have seen that and would like it.
I don't know any of the things you guys just said. So
Charles Bronson.
I just caught a little twinkle and I was like, yep.
Charles Bronson Charles Bronson as a cop. If I know it's a stretch, it's hard to see him as a cop, but against a serial killer that kills people while he's naked.
Well, that's the only way to do it.
We should add it to the list. All right.
I tried looking up some trivia. Most of it was uninteresting to me, but I did find one little piece. If I could share it with you both.
Yeah.
It was that. Do you guys know the name Silvio Berlusconi? So he's the
name is familiar.
He's a rich Italian guy, former prime minister of Italy, I think.
Oh, okay.
It said that he financed the film through some New York-based producer, Jade, Julian, and other Italian intermediaries. But what was funny to me about it is this Silvio Berlusconi character a few years ago, you might have heard, got himself in a little bit of trouble because he was having like underage sex and drug parties that were called like bunga bunga parties. I don't know. Jesus. I thought maybe that would ring a bell because it was a big thing in the news, but it reminded me of the scene where they were all like doing blow and fucking each other in the nightclub before they got raided.
Dude, so, did you notice that one dude at the one point how much blow he was doing with that spoon? I was like, dude, that looks like cartoons right now. That's so like ridiculous.
Yeah, so I thought it was funny because if you're a rich Italian, underage, drugging, partying dude, this would be a perfect movie for you to finance.
Yeah. They probably use this as like some kind of front.
Well, let me tell you about the director commentary with director Abel Ferrara.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It is one of the best commentaries I've ever heard.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
nice.
I listen, not because it's particularly insightful, but the first thing you hear is the rustling of a plastic grocery bag and like him like bumping into shit. And then he's just very clearly like drunk and he just keeps doing like you can tell he's just fucking coked and out of his mind and drunk. And it's just like most of the commentary is like a scene will come up and he'll just be like, he sounds like the Artie Clay character. Like he's got a real thick New York accent with like a gravelly voice. And he's like, oh, look at this lighting, Frankie. That's the shit. Oh God, this scene is so fucking awesome.
Oh God.
It's so good. And the guy that's with him keeps trying to like ask him like, I don't know, like this sort of like pretentious kind of things that you would maybe like ask directors. And he's like, what did you think the difference was between Wesley Snipes and Laurence Fishburne as actors? And he's like, what are you talking about? They're different people. Like he just doesn't like engage with like those kind of questions at all. He's just like, they're different people. That's the difference between them.
What a stupid question. I did read a piece of trivia that I don't have in front of me where the director said about doing the commentary. He's like, they offered me $5,000 and I just did it for the money. I didn't turn it down.
He says that during the commentary.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
He's like, I swore I would never work with this person again, but he gave me $5,000, so now I'm doing the commentary. And then like the very last scene where Frank's in the taxi and there's a bunch of like cops surrounding him. There's a scene where it's just like a shot of some cops doing cop shit. And he's like, look at that guy right there. That's a real cop. You can tell compared to the rest of these assholes.
Oh, man.
It is.
Say no more.
It's fucking wild.
I'm going to have to pick up the physical just for that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's up there in terms of colorful director commentaries. And also every woman that comes on screen, he's just like fucking freaks out. He's like, oh, she's so hot.
Jesus. Oh man. Yeah, this is like along the lines I just heard recently, Jacko came out with a special edition where like the producer and the director or something like that get together and they do not like each other and they almost come to blows in the director commentary and they're talking shit back and forth. One gets really butthurt like about, dude, I need to get that. I've heard it's gold. Yeah, that would be so awkward. Just talking to someone you hate on a track of a fucking movie that's gonna get disseminated out, like, and you almost get in a fucking fist fight. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Then at the end of the commentary during the credits, he picks up a guitar and starts playing an acoustic version of one of Schoolie D's rap songs, and does not censor himself when it comes to racial slurs.
Oh fuck!
It's very cringy.
Oh god,
that's so weird to pick up a guitar to a rap song and do a little your rendition. Oh man. Yeah, I guess the last thing going along the lines of like maybe him playing it a little bit smarter. I mean, I get he's wanting to do stuff Chris Walken quick, like within this year, but like I said, I felt like this happened like inside of a week, all these fucking things that go down, and him like, you know, it's like, why wouldn't you let things just breathe, develop a little bit more over time instead of your crew killing like 40 to 50 people in the space of like 3 of top tier crime lords and their crews within like a week's time. All these drug kingpins and shit you're taking out all over New York, and then it's like, of course you're gonna have fucking huge heat on you, you know, like how are you gonna...
Yeah, and you're gonna have nobody to work with if you're like, hey, I have this proposal, and they say no, and you're like, well, I'm gonna kill you now. It's like, okay, well, now we can't collaborate.
Yeah, they're clearly not making cocaine, you know, they're not making drugs, so they're
and
working out of the Plaza Hotel in New York.
His little speech about like they were human trafficking or whatever. It's like, okay, so the fuck do you care? That's not why you did it.
Right.
Probably. I mean, I think that's just sort of the part of the theme with the movie, because it's not like David Caruso actually cares about stopping Frank. He just wants to like fucking get his dick wet, get his proverbial dick wet and kill some people.
Yeah.
Boner alert!
Oh shit.
You want to get to that that second piece of trivia, or no? You had a second shitty review that you had saved.
Yeah.
Let's hit that.
I do.
He looks so happy.
This is from a gentleman named David G. 1 out of 5 stars. The title of his review is Big Bowl of Poo-Poo Soup. And he says, I don't understand how so many people accidentally clicked 4 and 5 stars. This movie is trash, in all caps. No plot, terrible acting, horrible writing, cameraman obviously blind, lots of horrible 80s rap, giant turd that steals part of your life from you and you'll never get it back.
Giant turd.
Thanks, David G.
Davy G.
For your big bowl of poo-poo soup review.
Who talks like that, man? Like, clearly this isn't a 12 or a 16-year-old or a 20-year-old. This is probably, I'm picturing someone who's like 38 to 56. Wrote a bowl of poo-poo soup.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this could be somebody who's young and funny or old and unfunny.
Yeah. Depends on how young. It's like, maybe if they're like 12 or 13, it's like, all right.
I didn't mean that young, but...
know, like...
somebody who's trying to come across as old and curmudgeon-y, like, I don't understand. This is stupid, but...
This crud.
Yeah.
Dude. This piece of crud. I love when they misname Hugh Jackson. They call Hugh Jackson. Oh fuck, that was so fun. Oh man.
Roll with me tonight for old time's sake.
Play us out with a little Freddie Jackson. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it. You guys have any last words about King of New York?
No.
I just want to say, I feel like we glossed over my favorite part of the movie, which is Larry Wong, the triad guy.
Yeah.
I fucking loved that dude. There's a scene of them watching Nosferatu
in
his little movie theater.
Yep.
I was a big fan of him.
Is he in anything else?
He's in some movie called Year of the Dragon, which I think at least one other person in this movie was also in that. I haven't seen it, but I don't remember ever seeing that dude in anything.
Is Nosferatu a silent movie, or were they just watching it with the volume off? Okay.
Yeah, it's a silent movie.
Frankenstein's up next.
I also like in the hospital when Frank's telling him his plan about donating to a hospital after selling like 200 pounds of cocaine. And just like, this conversation has made me realize just how fucking crazy you are.
Yeah. Yeah, he's wild as fuck. Or when he's like, even when he's out in the open at that benefit concert and he's like, yeah, the budget didn't pass. We'll need $15 million. He's like, I'll get you the money. It's like, how the fuck do you think he's going to get the money? You know, like, yeah, I'll get you $15 million in 2 weeks or however quick it was. It's like
end of the quarter.
By the end of the quarter.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. All right. Well, yeah, I think to reiterate, I enjoyed this more than I think I banged on it and like, you know, dissecting it a little bit, but yeah, I think it's up there with like good, you know, early 90s or just 90s like action crime drama. Like you can do a lot worse. And it sounded like it was a soft like for you, Steve. You enjoyed it.
Yeah,
anyhow.
I liked it.
Right on. Well, even though I didn't select it, I'm going to take it into the batting average. So that gives the show for Steve an approval rate of 84.6%. So chalk that up as a win. Do either of you have any colloquialisms or anything else you want to discuss before we...
I don't think so.
Okay, colloquial corner. 2 phrases that need to die are adult beverages when referring to alcohol and every restaurant serving a grown-up or adult mac and cheese.
You must get out more than I do because I've never heard... Well, adult beverage, that seems so generic to get mad at.
Dude, no, because it's a certain type of person that says that. The person
Would you
that
like
says,
an adult beverage?
Yeah, the same the person that says adult beverage is the female equivalent of the guy that says man cave, which is another thing that needs to fucking die.
Or mommy juice, referring to wine.
I don't think I've heard that, but that's fucking terrible.
What's the female equivalent of the man cave? What is it? She shed. That's right.
Yes.
I haven't heard that, but that
I got my
that
she
probably
shed
died
out
on
there.
Vine.
I've heard it.
I feel like people are like, "Oh, that's stupid. We don't need to say that." But man cave's been going on for
far too
probably
long.
2 decades at this point. Please stop it. It's called a fucking basement or a garage
or a den. Yeah.
You don't get fucking angry when you go to a restaurant and it says grown up mac and cheese.
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Oh man.
I don't frequent like Applebee's and like Zaxby's.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. It's like every restaurant in Minnesota is like a gastro pub.
Yeah.
So they're the type of place that would have grown up mac and cheese. What's it? Just mac and
tacos.
Yeah. It's just mac and cheese with bacon in it. Kids are also allowed to eat bacon.
Dude, there is a pub down in here in Fort Wayne that we went to, or it's like a brewery, and they have like 30 different kinds of like crazy ass taco variations, like a Philly cheesesteak in a taco, or like
yeah,
I like it. It's pretty bomb.
I actually really hate fusion cuisine, especially when it comes to tacos. Like this is a fucking Korean barbecue taco.
What's your stance on for burrito fusion?
I don't like it. Not everything belongs in a burrito.
This might have ramifications.
Not into it.
I don't know if you've heard or if I've shared like I did the
I've heard a few stories of you in a fucking drunken days putting your grown-up mac into a fucking tortilla.
Most of these were stone cold sober, so I don't know if that helps or hurts my cause, but I actually did one just the other day. I had sausage links, and I put them in a burrito with home fries and eggs and sharp cheddar. But I took the links and I split them like right down the middle, and I put 2 or 3 and I rolled them up. Or no, they weren't sausage links. They were Johnsonville Better Cheddars. So they were like hot dogs. They're hot dogs, basically, with cheese in them. So I did a hot dog breakfast, like
burrito.
Yeah.
That just got worse with every word that you said. No, it's not really a sausage. It's more of a hot dog with cheese in it.
It's a hot dog. It's a dog.
No.
What was I thinking? I was thinking about doing like an Asian burrito fusion, like
no.
One thing too I've always wanted to play around with is like fried chicken, or like Chinese chicken. How they like, what is that breading in the Chinese chicken? It's like puffy, kind of almost. I don't know. That's not tempura? It's something else.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The breading. If you go to a Chinese restaurant and you get Chinese chicken, no.
I mean, in flyover country, our experience of Chinese food is probably much different from what you grew up with in California.
Okay.
There's no actual Chinese restaurants here.
It's almost like a fish batter, like that kind of like a thick breading, but it's on chicken.
But not tempura.
So it's not like it's not it's not that flaky. It's like puff. It's almost like a puff pastry wrapped around a chicken thigh. I love thighs. I could go for a chicken thigh right now.
Whatever you're thinking of does not exist.
It does.
Not yet, anyway.
It's even in the bare naked ladies that you have a drums chicken to China, the Chinese chicken.
You have a drumstick in your ring stop chicken?
Yeah. Chinese chicken. Look it up. It's like on. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
Then it must be real.
Oh boy. Yeah, I miss a good taco truck, good taco wagon. They don't have those out here.
I think do they have Taco John's in Indiana?
I don't know. Out here they have is it Chipotle, Qdoba. Yeah,
airport food.
Yeah, they're garb. It's not the real shit. A taco truck in California, it's something else. It's like they use lard and like it's the good shit.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, is that it for colloquialisms? Our burrito fusion tangent?
Yeah.
Dude, I did one with Italian. I did an Alfredorito. That was bomb as fuck. Because it was a deconstructed rotisserie chicken was the chicken in the chicken Alfredo. So it like amped it up already off that, and then
how do you deconstruct Alfredo chicken? Do you not put the sauce on it?
Well, no, it's deconstructed from the rotisserie chicken and added into the chicken Alfredo,
and then reconstructed into a burrito.
Yes, that's the reconstruction act of. Yeah, it was bomb. Alfredo noodles, broccoli, rotisserie chicken. Wrap it up.
I'm going to say very few things belong in a tortilla.
All right. Okay. So, looking forward to next week. We are going to we'll be on episode 57. We're going to be covering The Raid 2. With our friends from Ghoulish University, Logan, Naderade, and Thon are going to actually join us. So we'll have a full house. I'm excited. Thon has hyped this up pretty good. So my expectations are pretty high. He said it's like one of the best action films ever.
I doubt it.
Okay. I think that's what he said. Are you familiar with the Raid series, Raid 1 or 2, Chris?
I'm not sure which one I've seen, because the one I have seen is called The Raid: Redemption, which sounds like a sequel to me.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's just the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could go another way too if you read it like if colon was an actual word and not the symbol. The colon redemption. That's stupid. Yeah, so we'll be watching that. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it.
So is it the second or
it is first? We'll be watching number 2. I've heard that they're interchangeable. Like you don't have to watch the first one to enjoy or follow along with the second one. I've heard it compared to the new Judge Dredd that they did with Carl Urban a few years ago.
I mean, the first one's very similar to that Judge Dredd movie because it's them fighting their way up a high-rise building.
Oh, okay.
Which is what Judge Dredd is.
Right. Okay.
But,
I want to say the second one it kind of uses that kind of same plot device, like it's some kind of confined space that they have to, fight your way through or traverse your way through. So, I really like that newer Judge Dredd. I thought it was pretty rad.
Yeah,
did you like it?
I liked it.
It's a pretty good one. It's good action, Steve. It's got a lot of like funky camera angles and like they do a lot of neat stuff. I thought Carl Urban was like dead to rights. Like he had the look for Judge Dredd down.
It's like one of the only 3D movies from like that Resurgence era where it makes sense for it to be in 3D.
Yeah.
They actually use it.
Yeah, I could imagine seeing that in theater in 3D would be pretty fucking rad. Because they have like a drug in this world that like you take it and it makes you feel like an intense surge of like euphoria, and it makes it feel like you're experiencing time like 1/100th or like 1/1000th of a second like in speed. So it's just like this slow-mo fucking just like yeah. They do a lot of those weird, crazy, like turnaround 360 scenes with that are pretty fucking rad.
Yeah, some of those guys from the raid were in The Force Awakens, and also they were like 2 of them were Mark Dacascos's henchmen in John Wick 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
so they've made a pretty like decent career starting with the raid.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard really good things about the raid, specifically like the fight choreography and like the action, the way it unfolds is done really, really well. Right on. Cool. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So that'll be next time. If you guys have any questions, please, or hate mail is welcomed as well. You can reach out to us. Our email is wax@waxingtheporpoise.com, or either of our socials. Instagram is waxingtheporpoise and Twitter is @waxingtheporp. Looking forward a little bit farther out in the future. You had dropped a couple titles that you'd be interested in looking at. The next one I was looking at potentially was The Place Beyond the Pines. That kind of piqued my interest. Are you feeling more top of mind? You've been talking about Navy SEALs, Chris.
Yeah, well, I want to get one that's like a home run, like that you both strongly like. I could just say Ghost in the Darkness.
Just go oldies but goldies.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard good things about The Place Beyond the Pines, and it looks pretty like it'd be a solid flick.
Yeah, it's just hard to please 2 very shallow, unctuous Philistines.
You bastard.
I mean, if King of New York's not a home run for you, man.
We are lost.
Because I think Place Beyond the Pines is like 2.5 hours. That's already -1 star for Steve.
Yeah.
I don't mind a long one. No, that's fine.
Yeah, he likes Zodiac.
I feel like there just might not be enough story-wise for Steve to latch onto it, but then Navy SEALs is like, yeah, well, there's no story. It's just Top Gun, but Navy SEALs.
Well, now,
go on.
Yeah, now you're starting to talk. Yeah, now you're starting to
Bean.
talk his language.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of Top Gun, that just reminded me of something. So Abel Ferrara, before this movie, directed a movie that I want to say was called The Cat Chaser, and that movie is the reason Kelly McGillis from Top Gun retired from acting, because she said he was such a fucking asshole to her that she didn't want to be in movies anymore.
Wow. Damn, yeah, that's good. That's crazy, because you think about it, I mean, she probably could have wrote her own ticket from coming out of Top Gun. I mean, she's a good looking woman and she's a good actress, so yeah, she had it like
you
bang
think so?
Bang. So huh?
You think so? I dare you to Google Kelly McGillis now.
I've seen her now, but she's fucking old as fuck. That's what happens to people.
So's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but he's a fucking
He stayed
freak,
in
man.
acting. He's a millionaire. He fucking can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Scientology.
I'm sure he's taking like stem cells and fucking like baby fetuses and like he's got a whole regimen
children's
of doing
blood.
crazy shit.
Straight.
Dude,
Adrenochrome.
He's in Scientology, dude. He's yeah. There's something going on there.
Yeah. Looks great.
Dude, speaking of that, I've been meaning to ask you, Chris, when you're on, I always forget, but have you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut? Are you a big fan of that or no?
I just have no interest in it.
You have no interest? Is it because of Cruise?
Just like, I'm not a huge Stanley Kubrick fan. I think I've seen like two of his movies. One of them, I was like, that's cool. The other one, I was like, that's not so cool.
Okay.
What were the two? Because I don't know anything. So
I like 2001. I don't really like The Shining.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything other than that. I did see his first film called The Killing, like Philip Marlowe style, like old school noir whodunit, and you follow a PI kind of dude. That's really cool. But I like 2001 a lot. I like The Shining. Freaked me out as a kid, but yeah, Eyes Wide Shut's fucking dope. I love it. I think that would be a good one to cover maybe in the future. It's got a lot of it's like it hits me like a horror film. Like it freaks me out every time I fucking watch it. And it's got a ton of layers, a lot of symbology.
Symbolism. I guess I've seen Full Metal Jacket a long time ago. I liked that.
Yes. That's we can't forget that one. Have you ever seen Killer Joe? With
Sounds
Matthew
familiar.
McConaughey. I think it was Friedkin who directed that. It was like
sounds pretty good.
It got a lot of hoopla because it was like, I think it is still rated NC-17, or maybe I think they chickened out at the last second. They got an R, but
so
either
what
way,
you're saying is you get to see McConaughey's dick in it.
No McConaughey hog. It's
Damn.
like it, but it's a fucked up movie.
I'm out.
I think I put that one down. That could be an interesting one for the three of us to discuss one day too. But all right, well, why don't we try to go with maybe plan on Navy SEALs then, and put Place Beyond the Pines when we're feeling a little bit more heady.
Hell yeah!
All right, coolio, right on. Well, thanks as always. We appreciate you making the time and gracing us with your presence, Chris and Steve.
Yeah, anytime.
It's been fun. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week with the Raid Deuce with Ghoulish Uni. Check it out. Goodbye.
Bye.